Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. Okay, so let's kind of stop, right? I did definitely want to continue with the elements. However, I'm here being instructed to speak about this weather that we're having. I'm not prophesying anything. However, I am encouraging everyone to make like a little evacuation plan, right? Start planning and preparing to possibly go to somewhere that will not be impacted by these hurricanes that are anticipated. What I find to be the most interesting of all is that these hurricane systems start on the coast of Africa, right? So I'm not even going to get into it, but yeah, we have a lot of our ancestors that they show up through the elements, and sometimes they wreak havoc on places where we are to disrupt what's going on in our environments or to just uproot everything in our lives, so we could start making adjustments, right? Now, if this is not an organic hurricane, then that's something totally different, right? I'm not a meteorologist. I don't track storms. I don't study storms. I'm not even well versed or informed on what, these hurricanes are really about. But what I do know is that hurricane season can get ugly. I lived in Florida for 3 years. Thank God it was North Florida. Obviously, the deeper south you go, the warmer the climate gets, the worse off the storm can be, right? So I'm not here to scare anyone, but this is kind of like a warning, right? Kind of just like prepare a little bag, kind of just be on standby. Get you some water, some snacks, some extra clothes, things that are a little water resistant, and kind of just pick a destination if you can that is, like I said, not going to be affected by the hurricane. And it's crazy because we are definitely well into hurricane season, but if you're in New Jersey, then by the time it passes like the Carolinas, it's usually dying down. These particular storms are projected to get stronger as they progress through the coastline, right? And as they draw near, we know that places like New Jersey, New York, we're heavily surrounded by water. Obviously, right, California and Florida and things are too. But I'm saying where I am, and because these are particularly small states, in comparison to places like Florida or California, it'll be harder for us to find another place in the state or go to like a neighboring state because it's really intimate. This northeast corridor is a lot more intimate than the southern states, right? So if you pick a place like Florida, you may be able to go to a place like Gainesville, right? The weather in Gainesville may be totally different from the weather in Miami when we're speaking in terms of a hurricane, right? Or a place like Texas or California or Georgia even, right? Or Louisiana. These states are big enough for you to just come inland a little bit and not have to worry about being affected or at least being isolated from the storm. New Jersey, New York, we're a little bit smaller, and because we're directly on the coast like those other states, we will get engulfed, right, by this water. So again, I am not encouraging anyone to be scared. I'm not prophesying anything. I am, however, just giving a warning, just basically stating that this might be it. This might be one of those things that we really need to pay attention to, and we might need to start moving around. Like I said, I'm not prophesying anything at all, but I am just, I'm sorry, had a little situation. But yeah, I am highly, I myself have now been looking into some cities or just locations, that, I'm sorry, I am texting, I'm sorry. So yeah, I have been looking into some cities to, go to or look into, to avoid the hurricane. Now in Florida, like I said, Gainesville was one, Sanford is another, Kissimmee, Lake City, Ocala, Orlando. And this is because these places are more north, like we talked about, right? Now, this is just for Florida. I would suggest that, we start looking into places that are more inland, more like Midwest. Obviously, you guys can look into that, but, these places, like, even, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, the state of Washington, Utah, Colorado, Montana, North Carolina. These are all states believed to be like a safe haven, to avoid climate change or natural disasters. Now, to my knowledge, I believe Hurricane Sandy was like the worst disaster in New Jersey. I'm not sure if anything else had been like as historic as Sandy. I could be wrong, but and New Jersey, right? I'm sure other systems have disrupted the southern states because they have hurricane season. Like, we don't necessarily experience the brunt of hurricane season here in New Jersey, not in South Jersey, not in North Jersey. But if it's going to occur in a really bad way, it would be South Jersey because the beaches, the shore is south, right? So if you're in one of those states, like a coastal state, right? And you can easily just look at the map. You can look at the actual map and look at the places that are inland. I know a lot of the inland places, they have more tornadoes than anything. And remember, we had discussed this about, I don't know, maybe a year ago, about paying attention to the weather and the Euphrates River, and how the Euphrates River is drying up, and how it is a prophecy, and how, these angels of death and destruction are going to come out of the chambers once this river dries up and cause havoc here on earth. Obviously, an entire city being engulfed, or state, or coast rather, right? Not the city, not the state, but the coast. An entire coast being engulfed by water due to a hurricane, whether it's man-made or not, is something that would affect us all, right? This is like beyond spirituality. It doesn't matter, like I said, how it's being conjured up. It's happening, and we need to make ourselves aware and prepared to possibly have to leave. Like, that's what the overall gist of this is. Again, you can look at the map and look at places that are furthest away from the water And this is not to say that you're going to have to stay there and make it your new home, but you might. So you might want to find a place where you could possibly, get comfortable, where you might possibly know people, where you might possibly be able to use your skill set to take care of your family and yourself. I'm not saying go ahead and go to these places that are deserts and then the water is messed up and then the fires are crazy and then you can't breathe because the air quality is different and it's impacting your lungs and your ability to maintain and adjust, right? So really do some research on the places that you would consider, because it's not just the job market that you want to be compatible with, right? You want to be compatible with the overall environment. Like, what's the culture there? What is the weather like, right? What's the climate like? What are the 4 seasons like there? What is the school system like, right? You want to be able to go to a place that is going to be fulfilling for your family, not just you, that's going to help you grow spiritually and not just financially, and obviously a safe place, right? Not every place is going to be suitable just because it's far away from the hurricane zone. And I would also, suggest, if you can swim, to try to help people just in case, because we don't know what's going to happen. So you might want to invest in like batteries, flashlights, water resistant cases or safes to keep your documents dry. If you have an old structure or building that might be able to withstand, where generators are going to be accepted and not in small spaces, like larger spaces, if that makes sense. And just try to stay away from places that are going to be prone to water. It's so crazy because I was going to go down to Atlantic City just to go, because I like to go to a therapeutic place, not necessarily to gamble, but to just be by the water. Sometimes I go to Tom's River, sometimes I go to Sandy Hook. It just depends on my vibe. But I was going to actually go down by the water, but something's like, nah, stay home. So I guess this is why, obviously we didn't get the hurricane here yet, but we are anticipating it as well. And just before we go, like I said, you guys, please invest into getting away. Have like a little backpack, get some waters, get some snacks, some cans put away, get your can opener, get we're trying to figure out ways to survive with the idea of a hurricane in mind. So that might mean that we might not have electricity. So just try to get your canned goods, like your peanut butter and your jellies and, your flashlights and whatever is water resistant. And like I said, a location that will be a safe haven. Even if you planned on coming back, water at that magnitude would not be receding in a week, not even a month, maybe, depending on the weather after, right? But this is not a joke, guys. So I'm actually prepared to start looking at some places and possibly leave. It's so crazy because I was actually prepared to apply for a job in a place that this doesn't really happen. Heavily considering it now. It's a government job. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I do love y'all. I do excuse me, spiritual belch. I hope y'all are getting your rest, eating your fruit and vegetables, and I hope y'all are planning to stay dry and stay safe, and I hope y'all have an emergency evacuation plan set in place to prepare to move if need be. Like I said, I'm not prophesying anything. This is just a precaution that the Creator wanted me to discuss today. All right, because we might gotta move, y'all. But I love y'all. Peace.